Hello, my beautiful friends. Today I'm so excited to be bringing you another edition of my shocking thrillers recommendation videos. These are thrillers that just blew my socks off. Like, I was shocked in one way or another, and I just keep an ongoing list. When I hit 20, I make a new video. If you're curious, I'll link the playlist for thriller recommendations above if you want to check some other ones out. But let's dive into our thrillers for this video. What Never Happened by Richell, Howzell Hall. Now, I'm gonna say, first and foremost, this one starts off it's definitely a slow burn. It's like a mystery thriller, okay? Keep that in mind. There's definitely an impending doom and danger throughout the whole book, but it is more slow burn, so keep that in mind. But this one takes place with our main character who goes back to her home on an island. So you have this isolated, kind of cut off setting on the island, small town vibes and drama and secrets, and basically there had been something that had happened in her past to her family that led to their deaths. She was the only survivor. She's coming back now, and wow. So Coco was the sole survivor of a deadly home invasion. She hasn't come back home since. She's finally coming back to deal with her Aunt Gwen, and she just wants to get back to her job, which is writing obituaries, which plays a role in this plot. And while she's there, she decides to kind of do some writing for the local newspaper. She's got a friend there who's like the editor, and she starts to write obituaries for these elderly women in town, and she starts to notice a strange pattern, and this makes her think, is there something going on this island? I'm gonna leave it at that. But if you're looking for something kind of a springy, a summery, an island isolated kind of vibe, family drama and secrets, a cold case, you know, trying to figure it out in the future, possible serial killer on the loose, the ending for this, I was floored. I did not see the reveal coming at all. I was shocked. Famous Last Words by Gillian McAllister. One morning he's your husband, by nightfall he's a criminal, and these are his famous last words. This took me in some really unique directions. I did not see where this book was going. This takes place in June. Our main character is Camilla. She's a new mother and she's just exhausted, which I completely understand why, but she's about to head back to her job for the first time, and she's at work when the police arrive and inform her that her husband is in a hostage situation. Except her husband is the one holding people hostage. I would hit the floor so hard. I don't even know what. So this is the story of a crime, a marriage, and more secrets than Camilla could ever figure out. So you're reading multiple points of views and like timelines in this. You're trying to read some of the events leading up to what happened. You're trying to figure out what is going on. She's trying to figure out if her whole marriage has been a lie, if the man she married was not who she thought he was, like what on earth happened. And it's just fascinating. I was on the edge of my seat. Absolutely recommend it. It's a little bit outside my normal read, but I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking for more recommendations from that author. I actually just checked out Just Another Missing Person from this author from my library because some of you recommended that to me. Cross My Heart by Megan Collins. This domestic psychological thriller did a number on me. Our main character is the recipient of a heart transplant, which in and of itself is super emotional to read, but she finds out through this website, it's called like Donor Connect, that she can message the loved ones, in this case the husband of the woman whose heart she now has transplanted into her. And she starts to reach out to him, and she discovers through some clues, like contextual clues, that he is like this famous author. He's like kind of like a mystery horror writer, and there were some mysterious surroundings about his wife's death. Just really creepy. But she also is kind of like falling in love with him and wants him to be hers. So the premise on the cover is she's got his wife's heart, now she wants his. This will do a number on you. It was such a psychologically like strange, weird thriller, but there were like moments where I honestly like jaw dropped. I was like, I did not see that coming at all. I really enjoyed the ending for this. Thought this was really good. I am a Megan Collins fan overall, and this one was my favorite, I think, so far by her. A Good Mother by Michelle Dunn. This is an arc that I read recently. I'm gonna put on screen if it's been released recently, but I'll link my arc reading vlog above if you're curious. This one is all about what makes a good mother. It's like a suburban neighborhood drama thriller situation. We have a couple of moms in the same neighborhood. They have kids who are in high school, and one of the daughters is missing. And from the get-go, you know something bad has happened, and you know the neighborhood is on the prowl. They're looking for this daughter. They're looking for where she is, what's happened to her, and you're reading from different mothers' perspectives and how little they actually know about what's going on in their kids' lives, how their kids impact their own decisions. It's very layered, it's very emotional. It really makes you question, like, how far would you go for your kids? What lines would you draw to like find them if they're missing? And I loved it. I loved every bit of it. I thought it was a fascinating read. I thought the ending was so satisfying. I was very satisfied by the ending. I really enjoyed it. Dead of Summer by Jessa Maxwell. So this one I believe comes out in July. This is an arc. I highly recommend this. I recommend this. I adored this. We have 3 points of views we're reading from. This is very much a summary thriller. We have these characters who are going to an island. One of them is engaged to kind of like, I don't want to say like the royal family of the island, but like they're the rich, wealthy family with all the ties on the island. And she's coming back for like a summer vacation with her fiance's family, Faith, and she's very much just like out of her depth, figuring her fiance's family is maybe not what she was hoping for. There's some weird things going on there. Then we're reading from another character's perspective, and she is coming back to the island for the first time in a while. When she was a teenager, her best friend disappeared, never to be found. Her body was never found, but it was presumed that she drowned, and nobody was ever charged with anything if there was possible foul play. Now there's this other man who's quite elderly, who also you're reading from his perspective. He's been on the island his whole life, and he was kind of a suspect. He's kind of got like a reputation about maybe having done something to that teen girl, but it was never proven. There was no body ever found. So you're reading from these 3 perspectives. Faith is very interesting because you're seeing her introduced to this very wealthy family that like crazy rich people kind of drama situation. I love the remote setting with the island. The twists and turns for this kept me really going. I was interested in the cold case, but I also was just fascinated with what was happening in the present day, especially because it looks like something might repeat itself again. So the less I say, the better, but this was an amazing summer thriller. I so recommend pre-ordering it, putting it on hold at your library, like getting your hands on it when it comes out. The Therapist by B.A. Paris. In general, just read B.A. Paris. Everything I've read from this author has been an absolute knockout, but The Therapist involves 2 characters. They're moving into this new home in this like kind of wealthy, like upper class neighborhood. It's a very nice neighborhood, but the wife didn't know, Alice did not know, her husband Leo maybe didn't know either, that the home they're moving into was where a woman was murdered by her husband 2 years prior, and that woman was a therapist, and the woman is really disturbed. Alice is really scared to like find this out once she's been living there for a while, and these things start to happen, and she starts to wonder what really happened to the therapist, and Alice becomes obsessed with this case. I don't think it was ever fully solved, and she becomes convinced that the neighborhood they're in, called the Circle, the killer is still at large in the neighborhood. And it's just this really creepy psychological thriller about, I mean, can she trust her partner? Can she trust her neighbors? Who is a killer? What is happening? What happened to the therapist who lived there before? It's about death and obsession, and it's really creepy. I was really on edge reading it and had a very good time with it. The Family Lies by Angela Henry. This came out, I think, in January of this year. New author to me, loved it. I originally gave it 4 stars, but I bumped it to a 5-star because the more I think about the ending, the more I am completely blown away. Like, this is an ending in a book that I'm still thinking about many months later, even though I read a lot every month. So that is a really good sign of this book being excellent. Basically, our main character is a librarian, but something happened at the library she was working at, so now she's working in a bookshop. But she gets approached by this man named Theo, who is a very wealthy man. His family is super wealthy. They have this big estate, and he asks if he can hire her to be his family's personal librarian for like a year because he wants someone to come in and catalog their collection because they have all these rare books and everything's just in a mess. However, there's lots of rumors about Theo and something he could have done, possibly hurt another woman, and the more Angela is there, because she's actually going to be like a live-in personal librarian, the more creeped out she gets. The ending for this, I still think about it to this day. I am flabbergasted. Honestly, there was just some parts of this ending I was absolutely floored with. I really, really enjoyed this book. If you like creepy, like a creepy estate, isolation, rich family drama, cold cases and rumors, I absolutely adored this. Another two authors, co-authors in this case, who I adore, Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. I recommend both The Golden Couple and An Anonymous Girl. Both of these were wonderful, especially The Golden Couple, which, as it sounds, is all about this golden couple who appear to be like the perfect Ken and Barbie. But are they really? So we have Marissa and Matthew. They're wealthy. They live in this beautiful suburban home. They appear to have it all. They have a great 8-year-old son. But Marissa is seeing somebody, and it's because not everything in their marriage is as it seems. The less you know, the better. I feel like that's not a very big description, but just trust me and go read this book. If you like domestic psychological thrillers, this was incredible. An Anonymous Girl is like a really good psychological thriller. We have our main character Jessica, who agrees to be, she's like a student and she agrees to be in these different like studies, like academic studies for money. And there's this one that's like a psychological study with a renowned therapist, and she agrees to be part of it, and the study is all about ethics and morality. And this book will make you question where you draw the line with ethics and morality. And the more she gets involved in the study, the more the questions seem personalized to things actually happening in her life, and it is so creepy. I liked The Golden Couple slightly more, but this one was still an incredible read. Anything by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen has been a knockout for me. So in general, I would just say check them out. The Wife Between Us and The Golden Couple I think are my very favorites. But An Anonymous Girl was still an absolutely incredible read, and I really enjoyed the psychology element of this and the interesting like psychological study that Jessica was participating in. That was absolutely fascinating to me. Maid's Diary by Loreth and White. Wow. So I'm enjoying this author so much. She's had some really great mysteries and thrillers. This one is definitely like a pure thriller situation. Very fast paced from the get-go. So our main character in this is Kit Darling, and she's a maid and she has a snooping problem. She'll snoop through these wealthy people's homes that she like cleans. It's very interesting. It's very creepy. From the beginning, you know that someone is murdered in the home that she is cleaning currently. So you're wondering the whole time who it is, how it happened, what is going on. You're getting like little snippets of secrets that Kit has stumbled on while cleaning the home. Fascinating. I love like anything to do with like maids or people who work in the home, like the personal librarian I was talking about, or like nannies, because it's just so fascinating to see the secrets they come across. Speaking of nannies, Count My Lies by Sophie Stava. I absolutely loved this. This one I think got some mixed reviews, but I had a really good time with it. It's not like an all-time favorite, but it's definitely a strong 4-star, very enjoyable, very fun read in my opinion. It says, I'm here to help. I'm your friend. You can trust me. Our main character is Sloane Caraway, and she is a liar. So you know this from the start. Keep in mind, she is a liar. So if you don't like that kind of trope, you know, skip to the next one. But she is in the park one day when she sees this father with his young daughter, and his young daughter is hurt. She gets stung by a bee. Sloane rushes over to help, and she makes a lie about being a nurse to like kind of put the father at ease, and then he's suddenly asking her if she'll be the nanny to this daughter, and she says yes, and now she can't back out of her lies. So she's kind of integrated into this home. She's having to keep track of her lies, and she's realizing that this perfect wealthy couple she's working for maybe aren't so perfect. I really enjoyed this. I think it got some mixed reviews, but I personally really enjoyed it and wanted to include it on this list. Little Secrets by Jennifer Hillier. Jennifer Hillier, again, fast becoming a favorite thriller writer for me. I mind blown by this book. So we have a married couple, and basically one day the mom is at like a market. It's before Christmas, and her son Sebastian is holding her hand, and one minute he's there, the next minute he's not. They have footage of him being taken, but nothing, like they can't find him, the police can't find him. Her and her husband are understandably absolutely wrecked, devastated. Things are going horribly for them, which of course. And Marin has the successful business, but she's just, a year later, she's an absolute ghost of herself, which completely understandable. But she starts to find out that her husband might be having an affair, and she's just falling apart because at this point she's like, I can't lose my son and my husband. And it's good. It's really good. It's very twisty. It's very fun. I was really surprised by the ending. Jennifer Hillier is someone I would really recommend checking out in general. I've read a few things by her and definitely plan on continuing to pick up more from her. Where You Belong by S.J. King. This was another arc I read. I believe it's already out. I think it came out in April or May. This one is about a family who relocates to another country. The father gets like a really good job opportunity and they relocate to this very exclusive, strange, wealthy community. I feel like I have a thing for neighborhood dramas apparently. I don't know. But they move there and all of these things start to happen. It just seems very suffocating. There seems to be a lot of strange rules, especially around what the women can and can't do that are kind of like implied. There's rules about when they can leave. Like they're just kind of stuck there, and it seems like nobody but the wife is concerned about this, and her fear continues to mount. Her paranoia is mounting. She's learning about people who were there before. It is very creepy and disturbing, and the ending for this hit hard. This is definitely more, I'd say this is more like a hard-hitting, like scary thriller versus more of like a just lighter popcorny thriller. This one definitely hits kind of hard, has some harder topics that are just like, wow, that is terrifying, because it seems like almost plausible, and that really plays with your fears and your mind. So this one really did a number on me. I very much enjoyed this. Haven't read anything else by this author, but I definitely would like to after this book. Do What Godmother Says by L.S. Stratton. So this is both a historical fiction and thriller mystery situation. I will explain. So you're reading from two points of view. You're reading from a modern day point of view from a young woman who is helping her grandmother, and her grandmother bestows upon her this painting from this woman who painted it during the Harlem Renaissance. She's not a very well-known artist, but the painting is very gripping and she finds herself very drawn to it and starts to research about the artist because she's just feeling herself very connected to the painting. And some strange things start to happen in her life. She starts to get some threats and stuff. It's very odd the more she digs into this artist's past. Simultaneously, you're reading the perspective of the artist from the 1920s and all about her godmother, who was based on a real person, which I didn't know till I got to the end, which made it even more terrifying. But the godmother was basically a patron of the arts during the Harlem Renaissance. I think she was even a patron to like Langston Hughes and Zora Neale Hurston, which terrified me because I recognized their names and I was like, oh my gosh. But she wasn't a very nice person, not a very nice patron. She had a lot of rules. She was very controlling, lots of expectations, and she takes this artist under her wings, Estella, and she recognizes her talent, but she starts to become more and more obsessive and controlling, and then something happens that triggers even more of that. And this went off the deep end, but it was fascinating. I was hooked. I couldn't put it down. Both points of views were absolutely fascinating. The present day one actually dealt a lot with anxiety, the main character dealing with a lot of anxiety, panic attacks, things like that. So there's definitely that psychological element, and as well as some threats to her home and everything as well. Blown away. I'm definitely going to read more books by this author. This was really fascinating, a very unique book, a very interesting look at the art world and how patrons can take advantage of vulnerable artists, and that in itself was just horrifying. I think this one definitely dabbles a little bit into horror. It's one of the more horrifying thrillers I've read, so possibly keep that in mind depending on your preference. But wow, I would strongly recommend this book. It blew my socks off. Alright guys, camera died, but I'm back to finish this video. So we are going to be talking about A Killing Cold by Kate Alice Marshall. If you're looking for a chilling winter thriller with rich people drama, family drama, isolation, crazy past secrets, this is it. Basically, we have our main character Theodora Scott, or Theo, and she meets Connor, who is a part of this very wealthy family. They own their own winter retreat with like a bunch of cabins in the middle of nowhere in the forest. She arrives there. They're not all pleased about her, and there's also a secret she discovers while she's there. I honestly wouldn't even read the full synopsis for this. I feel like it gives away something. I still enjoyed it anyways, but that's why I'm giving you even fewer details so that you can have that yourself. But I enjoyed this so much. It actually took a twist and turn I didn't expect. I loved the family secrets and drama. I loved Theo's kind of complicated backstory. I thought this was fantastic. I really enjoyed Kate Alice Marshall as well. She's another thriller writer who I've read several books from and really enjoyed every time. Another one I love and another author I definitely recommend just checking out in general is Alex Finlay, Every Last Fear. This one, so what I like about Alex Finlay is he does crime thrillers and like more police thrillers, but they're still done with a lot of emotion attached. I don't like reading like very legal thrillers where it feels like I'm not connected to any characters, I'm not invested in the personal stories of like the victims or people that we're like discussing within the book. But Alex Finlay doesn't do that. I feel like you're really connected to whoever you're reading. So in this one, our main character is Matt Pine. He is a college student. He receives this devastating news that his entire family who went to Mexico has died in what appears to be a tragic accident. The only remaining relative he has is his brother, who is in prison for a violent crime he committed during his teen years. And his brother's incarceration was the subject of a viral documentary, and Matt isn't so sure that his family it was like an accident, and neither the FBI, so they get involved with Matt to try to figure out what happened leading up to his family's last days. I loved this. I thought it was really good. I thought Matt was a great character. Again, I love all the messy family ties, kind of cold case or case from the past being brought to the future. I love those sort of tropes. You've probably noticed by now, but this one was another knockout from Alex Finlay for me. Confessions on the 745 by Lisa Unger. So basically we have two women. They are on the 745 train and they trade secrets one night. And this leads to a development of some very interesting events. One of them admits that she believes her husband is cheating on her, while the other admits to having an affair with her boss. And then the one who believes her husband is cheating on her with the nanny actually goes missing, leading the other woman to wonder, did she do something with it? Did she like crack? It's really good. Lisa Unger, excellent mystery and thriller writer. I've been loving what I've been reading from her, and this was a strong 4-star read for me. Close Your Eyes and Count to 10 by Lisa Unger. Speaking of her, this one is her new release from this year, and wow, was this entertaining. If you like reality TV, competition show, survivalist, isolated setting type tropes in your mysteries and thrillers, read this. We have our main character who is Adele. She is a mother to two, I want to say they're like teens. There's a very interesting backstory with her husband as well that you kind of get invested in, but the primary plot for this is that she gets involved. She's like kind of a fitness influencer, and she gets invested in this kind of like Survivor type competition, except it's not with teams. It's like one and only survivors. Like, you are in to win it. You're on this island. There's this guy named Maverick who just is known for these big adrenaline fueled pranks, and he does social media. So you have the social media element where everyone's constantly watching and on camera and responding with comments and things during live streams. There's a bit of mixed media, and it's gripping. I love a competition setting in any type of mystery or thriller I'm reading, and this took it to the next level. I mean, this was harrowing. As you can guess, this being a thriller, things go awry with the competition. It's being taken to the next level, more so than it was intended. So I thought this was a fascinating one. I really enjoyed Adele's backstory as well, and kind of her family. I thought that was a fantastic element that added more depth to the story, and it was incredibly thrilling. I mean, I was on the edge of my seat. One Dark Night by Hannah Richell. If you're looking for a Halloween thriller, this one takes place leading up to Halloween and involves a high school and a mother whose daughter is at that high school, and you're following her in the days leading up to this high school event. And like a lot of, high schoolers, they get involved with this party in the woods on Halloween evening. They're getting involved, they're, doing Ouija boards, they're doing all these things that maybe they shouldn't be doing. There's some drinking, of course, and then one of them is murdered. So the day after Halloween, this body is found in the woods, and a British community must figure out what is going on and reconcile with this. So this surrounds the gruesome death of a schoolgirl and the investigation that ensues. You get to read from multiple perspectives. Hannah Richell, I feel like people are sleeping on her. I've read both The Search Party, which has made my previous shocking thrillers list, and One Dark Night, which is actually an arc. This will be coming out, I think, in the fall. I'll put the date on screen right now. You guys have got to read this. It was so good. It was one of the best arcs I've read so far this year. I was on the edge of my seat. I was stunned. I thought I had it figured out. I really thought I had figured it out, and then this author just pulled the rug out from under me, and I just went bam, like mentally into the floor, because I was so stunned with the actual like explanation for everything. I think Hannah Richell is one of the most slept on thriller writers right now. I've read both of her thrillers, and they have been excellent, like 5-star reads for me, and I don't hear anyone talking about her, and I'm just gonna keep talking about her because I love her. And lastly, we have The Secrets She Keeps. This was one you guys recommended to me This one, okay, please, in general with thrillers, look up trigger warnings, but if you're sensitive to anything regarding pregnancy or children, I would really look them up for this book. It's grocery clerk and this woman who appears to have her life like very much together. You know, she's well off, she's got the husband, the perfect husband, the family, all of that, and they are both pregnant and due in December around the same time. The grocery clerk is kind of she kind of stalks the lady online. She's got like a mom blog and she's really interested in her. So she starts chatting with her and developing a bit of a friendship, and they discover they're due around the same time. And the less you know, truly, the better. But when I tell you, I mean, there were moments in this I was gobsmacked, and the ending, I was completely surprised with the direction it took, but it was very satisfying and I was really pleased with it. But this one was a very emotionally heavy thriller. So if you're looking for like a popcorn, like fun, lighthearted, crazy time, I would say no for this. This one's very heavy, it's very psychological, it's very intensive. It's about the secrets both of these women are keeping, as you can guess by the title, and wow, are these secrets doozies. So I would highly recommend this book. I haven't read anything else by this author, but it's on my to-do list to check out what else they've written because this one blew my socks off. I was stunned. Alright guys, that is everything from me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to check out more thriller recommendations, check that playlist out that I linked above. I do these videos every few months once I hit another 20 thrillers that are just like gobsmacked. I loved these, I need to rave about them kind of a thing. And if you enjoy talking about and learning about different thriller releases and book recommendations or mysteries in general, I hope you'll hit subscribe. I talk about those on my channel every week. My name is Amy Marie and thanks for spending some time with me today. Bye!